GSL.
What's up, guys? We're back here at the losers match of today's GSL Code S round of 16.
That's right, and it's a loser match that might surprise you with Dark being
Surprised
down
us, that's for sure.
Yeah, Dark against Terminator. This could be a tough one, man. Dark right now realizing even if he beats Terminator, he has to go up against Invasion. That is a
tall order,
tough road. And Terminator, not so shabby at PvZ. He has some nice PvZ, to be honest. It's a little bit different, too. He approaches it slightly different than other players, but it's not in a particularly cheesy way.
No, it's sort of an outsmart, outmaneuver, outposition game.
Yes, very much so.
And our first map's going to be King Sejong Station.
Okay. I mean, this is just like a pretty good map overall. Yeah.
This is like sort of the classic StarCraft II map.
Now, Dark is a favorite on paper and in reality, I would say, but again, Terminator has had some great PvZs, so we'll see, man. A lot harder player to prepare for, I would say.
I would agree. Our fourth best of three. Game number 1 is loading up to see who's going to be knocked out first here in the GSL Code S. In the upper left.
Genial Green Wings Terminator.
Sarah. I have to say it at least once. What if he gets eliminated? I can't do any more Terminator jokes. In the bottom right, in the yellow.
SK Telecom T1 Dark.
Whoa.
That's a quick pull. It's quite a quick pull, isn't it?
That's a quick little spawning pool.
Yeah. 10 pool here. Let's see where he puts his first pylon. Oh, he already put it at the ramp? Let's see if he makes the gate there. Because when you make it on the ramp, you either make the gate there after you expand or right on 13 and scout. So it looks like it's going to be probably made in... Yeah. Okay, this gives him a nice build order advantage, I would say.
Yeah. I was getting a little bit worried. It might just go past there and make a nexus.
Yeah, that sometimes is the case. This is actually my exact ladder build because it's really, really safe. You can basically hold anything, and it's still as greedy as you can get. Well, it's not as greedy. It's the safest greedy build, I guess, is a good way to put it. That's not a forge opener. So it's a good way for him to open here, and it's going to pay off. He's going to scout down and find that out very shortly here.
Okay, well, he's going to get in here, and yeah, this is going to work out quite nicely here as he sees the links.
And look at that. And he...
I'm like, oh no, but Artosi didn't scout that early pool. Now how will he know? How will he know to defend this attack? He didn't see the pool.
That is really funny. He's actually a little bit lucky, by the way.
Yeah.
He canceled his probe at like the last millisecond, so he didn't have to wait for a pylon to finish. Or actually, I guess he was going to lose that probe no matter what. Never mind. So that was going to happen no matter what. Because sometimes what happens is like you get down there scout and like you have 17 probes now because that's when you make your nexus and you're like, oh no, I can't make that quite as quickly. But anyways, he's completely fine. The second Zealot makes 100% sure no damage will come to him.
God, I almost bit my tongue off when I saw that. Okay. I thought he was going to get a
couldn't cast anymore.
Yeah, man, I became the Sir Ilian Pain caster. Like, I never speak.
Yeah.
But I do execute nerds.
Yep.
He's like, yeah, tasteless. I'm like, you don't think I really execute nerds? You know, don't say that when we're on TV together in front of all these people. Oh.
I think more of you as the guy that...
Look, I know you think that I'm Tyrion from Game of Thrones. Everybody says that, okay? But
you remember when...
You're Sansa Stark.
You remember when the ships were attacking the capital?
Yeah.
Sansa's ships?
Yeah.
And then, like, one of the ships, like, right off the back, got hit by the dragon fire and exploded.
Yeah.
And there was, like, that guy that jumped in the water that was on fire.
Oh, that's me?
That's you, Tasteless.
Oh, okay.
You're that guy.
All right, let's do this with another movie. Who am I if I'm from the Indiana Jones series?
From Indiana Jones?
Yeah.
Okay, I know exactly which one you are. You know the one where they go to get the Grail?
Yeah.
You're the chick that picks the wrong Grail.
I'm the one that picks the wrong cup. You know who you are. You're that guy that burns his hand on the medallion and his face ends like later on. Like,
oh, okay.
Yeah.
That's good. You know who you are. You're the aliens from Crystal Skull.
That's so good. Well, you're the monkeys that are swinging around on Crystal Skull, then.
No!
Oh, that's the worst part of the whole thing. Oh, man.
It is. That is the worst
It
part.
is. That was so cringe when I saw that in theater. I'm like, no, what have you done to Indiana Jones?
No.
My childhood.
Oh, man. Well, here we are, Tasteless.
Here we are.
And it looks like, of course, a Stargate coming up. A couple gates following it here for Terminator.
Yep.
We'll see what he wants to make out of this Stargate. It'll be Phoenix or Oracle. Last time he played this map in a PvZ, he went for Phoenix.
Well, we have a...
It's just a chrono.
Just a chrono. This is a really special build where you just chrono a few buildings.
You're not using them. No, he does go with that Oracle. And he does have the nice Wallen as well. So just looks like a pretty standard play. I'd imagine he's going to take a third very, very quickly off of this as well.
Let's see how the defense is here from Dark. 'Cause it looks like Dark's going for... oh, wow, Roachwarren. Okay.
Oh, he's afraid of something.
Yeah, that's really... I was going to say he's going for an eco game, and then he plopped the Roachwarren down.
It's kind of funny because he's going 2-base layer as well. Dark has shown some really weird builds from time to time. Like, for instance, in Pro League against Deer here, he went for a 2-base Infestor Rush or something. It was really terrible, and then he beat Deer anyways, so that was weird. But that was Deer's fault, not... I mean, Dark played well, I guess, but... Anyways, all that crap aside, I'm not sure exactly what his plan is here. It's kind of funny, but the Oracle's going to allow Terminator to scout exactly what's going on. Look at this. Nice set of drone kills here. Ooh.
Oh, don't lose this, though. Don't lose this.
Very
Okay,
nice
so he
pickups.
backs up.
Yeah, he just needs to keep that alive and continue to scout, because he sees, like, 2-base layer. Notice him throwing up some cannons.
Yep. Nice, cautious play.
Mm-hmm. Realizes he's just got to be careful here. He doesn't have to take a super quick third. Normally you do with an Oracle build like this, but when your opponent doesn't have a third, there's just no point. You don't need to expand quicker than Zerg.
Yeah. In fact, it's probably almost never really that worth it.
Yeah, it's better to play a little bit safer.
Expand. You just defend, wait for them to expand, and just keep. If you keep even with expansions on Zerg, you're probably winning. So.
Yeah. I mean, Zerg has to do something pretty fantastic to beat you if you're on equal bases and you're of a similar skill level. It's just they're not going to be able to take you out. So, do have some Void Rays on the way. He did see a Roachwarren, so that makes sense. Getting that third base now as well, just continuing to scout as he should. And just, I mean, Roach speed and +1 attack. Is he just going to make a bunch of Roaches and try to force a cancel or something?
I'm not sure.
Yeah, it's hard to say. I guess we'll see in a little bit here. Okay, Infestation Pit very quickly. And it's in, I would call that a hidden spot.
Yeah, it's funny because it looks like it's out in the open, but it's sort of where you wouldn't send like hallucinated Phoenixes over necessarily.
Yeah.
He's getting 2 more Stargates.
Yeah, looks like we're going to see Sky Toss here. We've seen a little resurgence of Sky Toss lately. It's like I haven't seen it do like fantastically well yet. Like I saw SOS kind of run into, who was it, Curious or something, and just die and like, I don't know. I guess we'll just see what he does with the Sky Toss. We've seen Terminator recently do some pretty air-heavy builds on this map in PvZ, but with 3 Stargates, you imagine it's just going to be Void Ray based, not Phoenix based.
Oh, Ortosis.
And in fact, does make a bunch of Void Rays here.
Yep, he's just going to be banking this up for a while. I have bad news. I actually left the Kleenex box over by our couch, so I'm just going to be a boogery nerd for this whole cast.
You're gross.
I got a runny nose today, guys. Well, he sees now with the Overseer exactly what's going on. Now,
yeah, that's
the
really
weird thing about this build is that there's not a lot Zerg can do to try to punish you. You know, I think the Swarm Hosts
got to
are
wait
a smart
for you to
move.
misstep.
Yeah, and it's also easy to defend. There's been a whole series of builds in RTS games that are sort of based off this kind of bizarre principle of turtling and bringing the game into a direction that the other player can't really engage you very much. And usually they do engage you, it goes poorly. A lot of people would trash on builds like this throughout RTS history, but it's really actually fine as long as you can make it work. But yeah, it's a funky way to play the game. It's sort of, I'm just staying really, really safe. I'm banking up a bunch of units, and I'm going for the late game.
Yeah, well, I think that's what he should do, right? He's playing against Sky Toss, and while Sky Toss can be very cost efficient and very strong in the late game, In this case, what we're looking at, the type of units he's making are perfect against Void Rays. He's going for Queen plus Infester right now to go with the few Swarm Hosts he already made. That is a great combination to counter this. So there's not like a whole lot that can be done right now by Terminator. Anywhere he goes to attack, he will be thwarted.
This is the first poke in here. He wants to try to get ideally the catch rate, but I mean, there's so much here. Now he can recall back home here, which is actually,
and that's will.
Yeah,
he has to. Did some damage there before recalling, so that's pretty good. You know,
it's sort of this like
a little bit
ultimately safe poke.
Yeah,
the Zerg base. Zerg just has to kind of sponge up the damage and.
You only get 2 recalls, though, so it's like, okay, you did that, now you can do that one more time, and then by the time you can do it again, it's not worth it.
No, because by then the tech tree for Zerg is basically finished.
Yeah.
Now, I do like the Locust play here. Swarm Host play, I should say. This a way to maybe punish him. It's also interesting, by the way, I thought he was going to take the middle base, not the upper right. I think that's maybe wrong, but tell me what you think, Artosis. I feel like middle base in the center of the map, maybe it's safer against Swarm Hosts, but I also feel like it's easier to defend.
Are we talking about Protoss perspective?
Protoss perspective, yeah. I thought Protoss was going to take his middle base.
I don't like the middle base here just because he doesn't have any splash, and he's up against someone who already has Swarm Host tech. Okay. So, like, the Swarm Host will be knocking on his door nonstop, and he can't just float Void Rays.
Okay, you know what? Actually, I agree with you now that you point that out. I was just thinking it because it's easier to defend everything with the Void Rays, but then, the travel distance is actually too short for the Swarm Host, so yeah, you're right.
He needs time to make these Void Rays do something. And he really does need them to do something, because all we need to see from Dark right now is making Queens and...
Look at this. Oh my god! This is so kind of cheesy, but I guess it's going to work.
Yeah, I guess he's just going to kill a bunch of
he's like, look at that.
Hatches and lose like 1 Void Ray
This
total.
is like, if you've ever seen anybody rage, this is the kind of stuff that makes you go insane in StarCraft. This is where you're like, well, this guy is so bad that he's going to beat me.
That was pretty cool, actually.
This is rage bait right here, man.
Yeah, I mean, he flew around with the Void Rays enough that it was hard for Dark to scout that this was coming.
And it's one of those things where they just get there fast enough, and if they start doing the damage and you're not prepared, I mean, that snowballs and you lose that. And now we're going to go into the DT tech.
Now, I do want to say, looking at this position, theoretically, based on my understanding here, there's no way for Protoss to actually kill Dark. Like, I don't think Terminator can kill Dark anytime soon, because there's enough like turtle units that Infester, Queen, Swarm Host is just ultimate turtle right now.
The funny thing is that Protoss has actually taken on the role of being like Zerg in this situation.
Yeah, he's all over the place. He's almost like playing a TVP or something.
He can make like 8 gates or something now and start pumping out a solid army. So this is like, and I've seen this all the way, going back to like Corsair Reaver where we got Zerg. It's sort of this weird build where you're doing this funky unit combo that's sort of hard to deal with. It's not that flexible, but it's annoying and tricky. Oh my god, look how fast stuff dies.
It certainly does. That is a lot of Void Rays. Well, not many of them firing right now, and he's got a recall.
Yeah, I'm surprised he's not doing it sooner.
Okay, there we go. Finally does do so. In the meantime, these other Void Rays actually, well, not really doing too much because of all the transfuses. Queen's pretty good against Void Rays once again.
So he should tech out of this now. We have a mothership core, by the way.
I like this. Well, I don't know if I like the switch in Muse. I like the idea behind it because he's behind. So maybe he just catches these Voids and kills them.
Do we know how many Void Rays are out now?
It's like 20-ish.
Yeah, it's something insane, right? And I mean,
but they're split into 2 groups, so the Mutas have potential, but you obviously can switch into Phoenixes immediately. So he has to switch out of the Mutas as soon as he shows them.
Okay, so here come the Mutas now, flying into this expansion. Now they're much more nimble than Void Rays are, so the Mutas can basically avoid.
Or just engage them.
Or just fly right into them, I guess.
Yeah, well, that's too many. Well, still, as you said, he is much more mobile, so at least he can continue to run around and see what he can get done with those.
Protoss just makes a couple cannons, and that's it.
I'd say you make about 6 Phoenixes, and
yeah, you could do that too.
Yeah. In fact, well, I mean, he's being as sloppy as you could be with them, but like he's not going to make any more Mutas anyways. This group of Mutas was to catch him off guard, and he was hoping to pick off some Void Rays. He did pick off some. Got an Oracle, some probes, a few units.
The Oracles are so handy here. They segue so well into the late game. He could just actually... Oh my god, he didn't get on top of those Swarm Hosts. I thought he was going to kill him for sure.
All right, now this is going to fly out.
You know, the only problem with the oh, nice. The only really annoying part here is having to babysit the Phoenixes when you're engaging the mutas. Phoenixes will lose if you don't micro them the entire time. And I think we have another poke in. I think he actually wants to get in here and maybe just kill off another hatch. By the way, it's now 5 base to 5 base here.
This is wild, by the way. He's like just not making ground units. He wants to just stay sky toss the entire time.
He is making DTs actually, which is interesting because you can gun down overseers very easily.
That's true.
Which makes getting new expansions pretty tough.
And he's making carriers, so that makes me happy. He's doing a kickflip, Tasteless.
Yeah, the kickflip of the StarCraft universe, the carrier. 3 of them.
All 3 of them is a Misty flip, Tasteless.
Oh, damn. You know your terms, man.
Oh, yeah.
All right, well, now we have an Independence Day attack over here.
Independence Day.
Yeah.
Well, he's coming in. Obviously, Fungal's going to be very good in this situation, but...
I'm almost wondering if he should have come over there and picked up those infestors, because the Fungals are actually the only thing that he can do here. So he recalled back.
Well, he has 15 Queens also, and he has 28 Hydras now. So, but is that going to be enough? He's actually mixing in some High Templars at this point. If he has a few Psystorms and feedbacks, that's pretty good.
I feel like inevitably the Zerg army actually counters the Protoss army. This is sort of why we don't see this all the time.
Yeah.
So I'm a bit concerned.
That's why this whole time I'm like, I don't think he can kill him anytime soon. Like, I don't think you can actually kill Zerg with flying units when they're going for like this high-end tech. But
well, he didn't properly control the Zerg either. He killed those hatches, but I mean, so what? Zerg just remakes that, and the game goes on. Also, keep in mind how much money Zerg actually has banked right now.
Look at that army too. Oh my God! How do you attack that with flying units? Those interceptors are going to disappear.
All right, guys, we're all about to, once again, have the lesson reinforced of why you don't make carriers in this game.
I hope he wins with the carriers.
Yeah, and I hope that, you know, I become a superhero one day, but I also want to try to be realistic. I don't think...
You're basically a superhero.
Yeah, that's true, actually. It's a terrible example. I mean...
Are the Queens off fighting by themselves or to the left?
I think so.
I want to see! Show me!
There we are.
Thank you. Oh, well, I guess they're already dead.
Well, the problem is, I mean, the Hydras and Queens combined, I mean, it's just very straightforward. Like, the Hydras deal so much damage, they just kill the Interceptors.
Queens tank really, really well.
This is where if you get a lot of people that like theorycraft, where they're like, well, what if we just did this and this? Well, now we can show you exactly why you see the unit comps that you do see in StarCraft. I'm always saying, to some degree, this game is very much solved.
Well, we'll see if maybe Terminator can still get something done here. He has done damage at various points to Zerg, so it's not like a perfect situation for Zerg, but that's some good Fungals going off. Flying units trying to attack the anti-flying units.
Well, he is getting these drones. I think we have to see him switch into a normal play here. The problem, Protoss has like no savings account.
Yeah, and not just that, he doesn't have Blink, Colossus range, ground upgrades. He has to stay on air. He absolutely must stay on air. There's no choice. And now that look at this, we have a switch into Corruptors now that he's lost most of his Void Rays, which is fantastic as well. Those are going to be a nice compliment if he doesn't have Void Slot.
Shrek-Dorino, bro. Ouch.
Fungal pretty good. Did you know there was like a short patch where Fungal didn't hit air?
That would have changed everything permanently, man, if they had kept that. My God. Fungal, I remember when the game first came out, we're like, whoa, fungal growth is good. That's like Psystorm.
It was way better back then.
Yeah, it was. It also didn't have to shoot that volleyball or whatever but they connected.
Yeah.
It actually was instantaneous.
And more damage.
Okay, so we are getting close to having Protoss actually maxed
He's at
out.
7 carriers. I think we're not making a big enough deal of the fact that he is making this many carriers.
Guys, this is...
We never see this unit.
How long has it been since we've seen carriers? And I don't mean like one carrier when the guy was already winning and it doesn't actually factor in or mean anything. We have a game where...
This is literally a strategy where he decided to go carriers before he came here today.
Yeah,
like,
that's
on
true.
King Sejong Station, I'm going to be going carriers. By the way, I want to mention something that I find very interesting about this strategy. Normally, like, we saw for a while everyone was switching into mass air to counter Swarm Host, but then kind of everyone stopped because you just couldn't break them. There was just like no way to actually break through, and it just became this long thing of Vipers pulling your crap in.
Yeah.
But in this game, like, he went so much air so early, he kind of went around the whole Stormhouse, because you don't actually make the Stormhouse counter there. When there's not that much air, he had to put all of his money into anti-air.
Yeah.
So he's actually like, basically this strategy circumvents the Stormhouse completely. He just says, okay, with this strategy, you won't go Stormhouse.
Yeah.
So it's like very interesting, this strat that we're seeing. And like, a lot of Terminator strategies are very interesting. And
by the way, we just point out Dark's handling of this game is so good. You know, one thing about carriers, guys, is they're not fast. So if you split up your army into these little squads and just start harassing everywhere, the carriers can't actually defend everything.
No, certainly
and you
not.
just get further and further ahead.
That looks like sending one carrier to the side.
Here's one thing that could happen, and we rarely have StarCraft games that are like this. Oh, so cool. Is that he could actually end up, Zerg could end up mining out this side of the map, and then Terminator would win in the long run.
Yeah, that's true.
That actually could happen
We
here.
almost never see that in StarCraft II, but it is a possibility.
It is possible, so I just want to put that out there as something to consider. We could have a map mine out here.
Yeah, a lot of times when we do see map mineouts, it's Stormhost against stuff, and both players mine out at like the same-ish time. And then it comes down to bank size and stuff like that.
This one would be worse if they mine out, because Zerg's been ahead in expansions for a while. And in fact, with the way this game's going, Zerg doesn't actually have any more bases that they can really take.
It's very true. And that would make it in one of those funny situations that would actually happen in Brood War.
Yeah. Now, in fairness, this is a much more developed late-game army. Templars, Mothership Core, Void Rays, Carriers.
A couple Archons in there for the Corruptors.
Yeah, which is very important. I think actually Protoss might have gone full circle, and this is starting to become something that's kind of viable. You know?
Yeah, it's very interesting because again, he got to skip Swarmhost altogether. Like there was never a chance to go Swarmhost.
No, there was no moment.
Like, because when you already have the Stormhost and then they switch into air, then you switch into anti-air, but you already have the Stormhost pushing. Here, it's like he dictated the game by going pure air. So it really is very interesting, very cool stuff.
There's actually feedback in here. These infestors, nicely done.
Yeah,
and he's going to go down here and push. Now, Protoss has to be careful because it's not easy to get out of this. Yes, you can recall, but if you lose the Mothership Core due to all the Corruptors, then you're stuck there.
Yeah, but with these Void Rays, a couple Archons, and some Psy Storms, it's pretty hard. And don't forget, as you were saying before, like the DPS on carriers is insanity.
It's crazy, man. And he might actually just keep pushing here. He's gotten those Templars away, 3 of them at least.
Look at these Fungals just taking out Interceptors.
Now the Archon needs to come up here. Okay, and he's going to recall back.
Okay. It was a solid recall. He did lose some stuff, but he killed a base. He killed some stuff as well.
Yeah.
It still has 11 carriers. This is so wild. Terminator just plays so different from everything. And you know what? I just want to point this out. This is really interesting. Terminator has not played a single Pro League game this year. He's actually much harder to study than the other players and has much different
that's
styles
a very good point.
strats.
Because for how well he's playing, the fact that he's off the map as far as VODs go, that's tough.
It's only SSL and GSL. That's it. That's the only place you can see him.
Well, he poked in and got that hatch. I guess he can keep doing this over and over again. I feel like he needs to make a bunch of DTs and then try this again, hitting the bottom while also hitting the center right.
Yeah, you know what? A big, like, ground force over there would absolutely kill it, I would say.
Okay, and we have a possible push coming up over here. He is actually just going to keep moving through. And, I mean, Dark is getting pushed back further and further, but... okay, this is so weird, guys. I'm sorry. We never really cast games like this, so I'm sort of...
Well, this has never happened, this game.
Artosis and I are both basically sitting here kind of staring at the screen, trying to figure out where exactly the game can go next, because
like I could
we don't
scream
even
about
actually
action on the screen, but this is far more interesting than something that deserves just screaming about action. This is...
Well, this is sort of... People just don't do this anymore.
Ever.
ever. So for me, I'm even having a difficult time trying to compute like how many carriers can take on what, because this was something that was sort of... They closed the book on this one a long time ago in pro gaming, but here we are now.
I haven't seen an actual dedicated carrier build since like MC on that Cloud Kingdom map or something.
Yeah, I think you're right.
I don't even...
Well,
this is so weird, but
I mean,
so
I guess...
Awesome.
Okay, hold on.
The High Templars are really allowing him to do so much here.
What was that? What was that?
That was a recall that did not recall everything.
That was really bad. That might cost him the game.
Good. Let's see if he can keep some of these High Templars alive.
Okay.
Hey,
the Corruptors are coming in here now.
It's got the right time for Army to really deal some damage here, but it looks like with this many queens, yeah, the queen's transfusing a lot too. He just lost a very important chunk of his army.
Well, the problem is tempo. When you go air with Protoss and you lose like a big chunk of your army, your tempo's down so much.
Yeah.
I mean,
to rebuild those
we've talked
units.
about like when Terrans lose tanks. You know, you lose like 7 tanks. It's like, wow, well, you're really behind. I mean, it's going to be a long time for you to get tanks to come out of a factory quickly, but this is even more so. To get Void Rays and carriers, that takes forever.
And you know what? He lost 6 High Templars there, and he just doesn't have a gas count anymore. Like, the game isn't over, but if he loses, that definitely could be looked at as the losing moment.
Yeah.
Because,
well, I kind of don't want this to end based off any misplay, because I would like to see them play perfectly just so I can understand this better. So, look at these little drones coming out.
Just trying to colonies.
Well, also note Zerg does not have a lot of minerals or gas for the phase of the game we're in.
No, he certainly doesn't. Look at how small his bank is. Normally in a situation like this, you have a huge bank as Zerg.
Yeah, you'd have like 4 or 5K or something.
He needs to build up a few more High Templars. I'm really afraid for an engagement, because without the Psystorm and feedbacks, I don't think he can win it this next time. He's only got 1 Archon as well, so Corruptors are going to be a little bit stronger than what we've seen so far.
Okay, he's storming and driving him back, and I guess, okay, so I think what this is, yeah, this is what I was talking about, only it's on the reverse spots. I was saying he had to get DTs to one base and push with the other one.
Yeah.
I think he actually wins this.
You think so?
I think he does, yeah.
He might.
Yeah, because look, the Zerg's at, what, 700 minerals. If he loses both hatches, I think he does. Well, there's a chance he won't.
Yeah, he's not targeting at all.
Okay, but he at least gets that one. But I mean, look, he could warp in a couple Zealots and just send him down there.
Yeah.
To get that.
Well, hold on. Let's see.
Yeah.
Can he actually take out this army?
Well, he has Templars here, and if he gets the Archon over there.
Yeah, the Archon could help a lot. He's got a target. He's actually not attacking
he needs
what
to
he
target.
should.
It's so important that he targets.
He doesn't do so. It does have some Void Rays coming in for a flank
you know
here.
what?
The Queen's almost out of energy.
Honestly, man, I think that...
Yeah.
I think the damage is already done. What is this game, though? Seriously. What is this?
Awesome.
Yeah, it's really interesting. I mean, we just haven't seen this.
Wow.
Anybody who's even watched like a modicum of StarCraft knows that we don't do carriers.
No, we don't do carriers. But Terminator just had an actual build that led to carriers naturally in the macro game. And went mass carriers and defeated the best macro Zerg in the world for sure. The best macro Zerg.
Well, it's a playstyle that people just don't do. And everybody who's played a lot of RTS knows that feeling when you're like, what is he doing? Is this a thing? This doesn't work. This can't be right. You're oftentimes saying in your head, my opponent's bad.
Yeah.
This will never work. And then,
or out loud to your stream.
Yeah. Well, I mean, that worked. I don't know if we're going to see Terminator do that again.
I have no idea. I don't think so. But
You're
that
more
was
likely
so
to see a
interesting.
shooting star in your life than see that get done and work.
It was amazing.
In round of 16 of Code S.
The way that he played it, he was so mobile with it, and he used recall. That was the most times I've ever seen anyone use recall in a game.
Yeah.
He used recall like 15 times just to get out of those fungal situations.
In better shape before he had the screw-up recall, where he only recalled the mothership core back and like 6 carriers and left the rest of the air army. But he made that work. The real question we got to ask ourselves is, could Zerg have responded better?
Well, I think the answer is absolutely yes. He could have. He probably has never, ever played against that and tried to do that off the cuff, and that can be very, very tough to do. So, I don't know. Let's see this next game, man. I'm really excited.
Yeah, me too.